Welcome back into the Enrichment Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. You know, their emergency room doctors, nurses, and staff are on hand 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, ready to go whenever you or a loved one need quality, quick care. From broken bones to life-threatening conditions, trust Tennova Healthcare just like I do. Tennova.com is where you can learn more about their emergency services and all of their many other services that they provide to East Tennesseans. Tennova Healthcare. All right, back with Jimmy, Bob, and Shazan. Let's shake it up this week. No quiz show. I was going to throw out a couple of hot topics and let you guys go at it. Next week, Tennessee's defense will face Aaron Murray in Georgia. And even if Todd Gurley is out with a sprained ankle, it looks like he will be. He was in a walking boot yesterday. They've still got Keith Marshall, who Tennessee fans will remember running for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Vols last year. Here's what Georgia has done so far, the Georgia Juggernaut offense, if we can call it up. There we go. Georgia's 3-1 so far. They've scored 38 at number 8 Clemson. They hung 41 points on then number 6 South Carolina. They scored 45 on North Texas. And yesterday they put up 44 points and nearly 500 yards on number 6 LSU and John Chavis. Tennessee, meanwhile, was giving up nearly 400 yards to South Alabama. If, gentlemen, you are John Jancic and you've got all these freshmen running around out there, what do you do this week? Is this one, I mean, is there a feeling that you could have another Oregon 50-pointer on this way?
Well, first of all, up front we have to be more explosive. We got to get out of the hole quick and hard. We got to fan the field. And when you do get a chance to hit a running back, you must hit him and you must wrap up.
And they had some issues with that. Guys?
Well, I tell you what, my biggest problem with what I've seen on Tennessee's defense, you know, the young guys on the defensive backfield don't bother me as much as some of the lack of speed that I'm seeing up front, and that's what worries me going into Georgia. I thought there was times yesterday where South Alabama actually looked a little quicker than Tennessee. And
their
so
quarterback broke contain again yesterday.
And that's what worries me the most going into that game, is Tennessee fast enough to really be able to do anything.
I don't know that it's really all about speed. It's not taking the proper angle.
That's huge too.
Well, if you're not fast, you have to take the perfect angle. And if you don't take the perfect angle and you're not fast, it's going to look awful bad. Jimmy, your thoughts on that? I mean, that's a double whammy.
Speed is an issue. Another issue that cropped up to me was that on the trip set that South Alabama ran, Tennessee didn't do a good job of covering any of the slant routes, the passes over the middle. You get out on the flank and Tennessee's defense is vulnerable because in part they don't have real good speed. Inside the tackles, they're not as bad. But when you get out on the flanks or you get people out in space, they have difficulty. And Georgia's got a lot of people that can do that. Tennessee is going to have to do a really good job, in my opinion, of trying to contain the middle to keep Georgia from being able to run it against them and hope that Georgia's having a bad passing day. Because if they're not, Tennessee's secondary's in trouble.
All right, let's go to the next question then. We talked about Georgia and their passing game. Justin Worley continues to be maddeningly inconsistent. He throws a beautiful deep ball to Josh Smith for a touchdown 1 minute. The next minute, he's throwing into what amounted to triple coverage. 3 interceptions, just can't do that. Butch Jones has kept the red shirts on his freshmen. Now you go into Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, and you're one helmet popping off of Worley. I mean, that's all it takes. You don't have to have an injury. Helmet pops off. He's got to go out. You got to put in a guy who's never taken a snap in a college football game. Whether he should have been playing them all along, whether he should have gotten them in yesterday, your thoughts on the quarterback situation. I'll start over here. Thoughts on the quarterback situation. Have they bungled it?
I don't think that they've really bungled it. I didn't agree with what happened at Florida. And if you do start Peterman, you got to take him out after the 3rd series, okay, because it was evident he wasn't going to get it done. But I think you've had a couple of opportunities to play the true freshman. You've had a couple of them.
Yep, Austin Peay, Western Kentucky.
That's right, and he hadn't done it. And I wonder if part of that is I don't want to play my hand on which one is ahead of the other. Am I going to lose one if I play this guy and try to redshirt the other one? I think some of that may be a factor in the decision making. I think they like these guys and believe that down the road they can be good, but the thing that Butch Jones said yesterday, they're not ready. They're not ready.
You're going to lose one of these guys anyway, though.
Well,
that's one of them is not going to sit for 3 years behind the other one.
Maybe they hadn't decided which one they want to lose.
Maybe not. Bob, your thoughts?
I really
not
think
ready is a worrisome comment.
If you go back and at 20/20 hindsight, you know, I think they have bungled a little bit. But going into the season, you thought, okay, Worley's going to be a decent caretaker quarterback. People talked about Peterman had the better arm, so you've got a good backup. Maybe you could get through this whole season and redshirt both of them. But looking back on the thing, I would have liked to have seen them played against Austin Peay and Western Kentucky. And, well, heck, I'd like to have seen them play it against Oregon. I mean, that game was lost. You had an opportunity to get them in there. So I think there is a little bit of a bungle, but I'm looking at that, you know, how we got here. I did not say that before the season. But I think they, you know, I think they probably ought to next week, as soon as that game, if it gets out of hand, put one of them in there. As soon as you think, well, we're not going to be able to win this football game, put one of them in there.
Well, I said it about after the Florida game. Moving forward, in hindsight, you wish at the first of the season you'd have gone ahead and said, we're going to 94 this one. It's got Worley as your Helton. Our freshmen are going to play like Stewart and Manning. They're going to get series here and there, and we're going to put Worley back in when need be and that kind of thing. But I think that's what they certainly should have done yesterday. Even in the first half, you could have given one of those guys a series. I don't think it would have been, you know, but life-ending. Tennessee got away. Now, Brandon Stewart and Peyton Manning were ready for it, more ready for it than these guys apparently. But Shazan, your thoughts on the quarterback situation? Should these freshmen have had any more, or should they have had any experience to this point?
Yes, I think they should have. At least one of them should have had some snaps in like the first half yesterday. Butch Jones, the coach, I respect him. I think he's a heck of a coach. If he didn't take the job at UFC, he's going to win. So I'm going to leave it all to him, and you know that's all I can do.
Okay, I'll criticize him. And yes, he should have gave him some more.
You think?
Some more work. Yeah, I mean, I just think so.
All right. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt in a lot of areas because I think his resume has earned it. There are a lot of people yesterday saying this guy doesn't have the resume. He's another Derek Dooley. No, he's not. He is not another Derek Dooley.
No, you just don't want to make Shazan mad.
That's it. I mean, wait till he sees what his paycheck is, then he'll really get mad. But I think that the situation, all the guys over there are laughing. Yeah, we don't even pay us anything. The issue, though, is this guy gets benefit of the doubt in a lot of areas, but when it comes to quarterback, I think that's fair to question. I think that's something everyone's going to question. I think it is fair. That's the biggest issue you've seen so far. I think this team is an average quarterback away from probably being at least 6-6, 7-5. I picked 5-7 before the season because I hadn't seen anything out of this quarterback, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. So I do think you can question him at quarterback, though. All right, when we come back, Chuck Cavaleris, Mike Strange, Sterling Hinton, Bobby Scott, we're going to talk about the positives from yesterday. That could be a tough thing. And we'll talk about the negatives, and we'll look at them going into the Georgia game. A lot of Georgia talk coming up on the Enrichment Sports Source.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television.